that we are working with in our environment. It's a quite simple system that you could, I think, with your IT support also could build upon if you like. So that would be I think relevant to you definitely, and also for us to promote this kind of idea of using the communication part as a main quality or standard parameter for our output.
Just a question. You said you had like a consultation between the inventor and the examiner. At what stage is that on? Is that before the application is written, or is it before the examination, or what is the timing in this consultation? I guess it's an oral consultation.
During the substantive examination.
So it's during the examination to explain. Okay, yeah, to explain the word. Yeah.
To expedite the process of examination. Yeah. So examiner don't have time, don't have to spend much time on reading and trying to understand the invention, because mostly like it comes from one university, so all application from one university will be collected and even will be held at the university to help like a kind of hearing between the examiner and the inventor. So it's a kind of program from a kind of service from our office, especially for local applicant from state university or state research institution.
So the researcher writes the application themselves, or do they get any like consultancy to help them writing it?
It's not from patent department. So we have a Bairni here from cooperation directorate. So the activity to increase the number of application is the responsibility of the directorate of cooperation, and our duty, directorate of patent, to the target is to finish the after the inventor get the helps from the cooperation section and they apply for the application, the duty shift to our directorate to do the examination.
Okay, and please remind me again, this consultation, this communication with these inventors, was that only the third and the fourth level examiners, or was that all of them? I think you said it, but just to remind me again. But you had these consultations.
Yes, it's for the full examination for the local applicant. So for the PCT application, because we can refer to examination report or search report from our office. So there's no need to have a kind of activities like that. But in some cases, in some cases, sometimes the application has been amended from the family patent from other countries. So maybe once or twice a year, there's a kind of consultation between the examiner and the proxy. The proxy or the consultant here in Indonesia, because mostly the PCT application are from abroad. Right, Awalin? Yeah.
Okay, so it's just as Mogens mentioned that it could be interesting to make some training, but the communication is kind of the key element. I was just wondering if that would be relevant for all the examiners, or it would only be relevant for the third and the fourth level. Definitely for the third and fourth level, but it could also be relevant for the first and second, because it's at some point they will end up being.
Sure. Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. So they prefer earlier to do the full examination.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it seems like this will be a very interesting topic to elaborate a bit more on in doing a training. And this is also something we have experience with. We have worked, as Mogens mentioned, in our culture here to have this communication part.
Would you like to share the latest international training that DKPTO held in other countries?
Yeah, I can share that. But I'll also say, as we mentioned, we very much take as a starting point the challenges that you have. So the training that we had that was 2 months ago in India was based on the challenge that they had, which was different than the challenge in Indonesia. So that's why we might not we're not using the same training again and again, but I can show you it as an example of what we have done in other countries. So I can share my screen. Just a moment. So do you see the slides on the screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think we have covered some of that. I've just, I think Mogens already mentioned we have about 60 examiners, and half of them have more than 10 years experience. So we have a whole lot of experience in our patent department. And just to mention that here at the Danish Patent and Trademark Office, we do the patent, trademark, utility model, and designs, but we also do the policy part of it. And then we have these international collaborations. So this is our experience. I think Michael mentioned that when he was in Indonesia a few months ago, that we have done training in India and Brazil. We have also done some training in Indonesia online a few years ago. And then we have done very extensive training in a number of countries. So quite general for our approach when we do training is that we do it like it's a two-way communication. We focus on discussions so that the employees who are trained, they participate in discussion and group work, and we do it on problem-oriented, so we have hand-on exercises. So it's kind of a workshop format. So at least I think it's more fun and interesting to participate. Sitting and listening, you also have to participate yourself and bring in your own problems and discuss it. So I think you will learn a lot doing this. And as I said, this was an example which is very close to what we have done before. And it's also to be emphasized that if we're doing the training at the Indonesian IP office, we will tailor-made it to accommodate the challenges you have with the communications. So if we were to train one day and we could focus on methodologies and examination, that's what we did last time we did it. But we start by mentioning how we did the examination process at DKPTO, how the process is and who is doing what in this process. As I mentioned, we are very much focused on methodologies. The methodologies we use here is called the problem solution approach, PCA. And we use it also in the search strategy, and we use it as a quality tool. So what we can do what we did in this one-day workshop here is that we describe and explain the problem solution approach in depth and gave a practical example, how we access novelty and inventive step. And I think this is what all your examiners do, no matter if they are the first and second level or the third and fourth level. So how we access the novelty and inventive step and how we do it in a consistent way, so all examiners do it in the same way. So that would be like kind of, you can say, if that's here, it was in the morning session, and then after the lunch break, we had the workshop where we look at a specific patent application and had an interactive session where we have case study. We brought out 2 examples, and this was like within 2 different technical areas. And then the people in the workshops, they were working with these, trying to work novelty and inventive step assessment as they had been described in the morning session. That was one day. Previously, in another country, we did some years ago, like more 2 days workshops. And then we took this one and then we added more in where we have like more in-deep discussion on the novelty and inventive step, where we have more practical examples, more examples that the participant can work on themselves. But then we also included a session about search methodologies, like how do we do that in a systematic way? More on the methodology. I am aware that you have different databases than us, but with focus on how do you do, what are you looking for when you have this patent application? What kind of technical features should you focus on in your search? And how do you do it systematically? And then you can combine this with the one on the previous slide, and then you have a 2-day training workshop. And what we have done previously is that then we have repeated the workshop, but then with another technical field, because it's always more fun to have examples within your own technical area. But what I have learned from what you have said to us, and thank you for explaining these things to us, that we should include and have like the anchor of a training with you should be like on the communication. So how do you communicate the things once you have done the novelty and inventive step assessment? How do you communicate it so that the applicant can understand it? And as Mogens mentioned, that there's the written communication, but there's also some kind of oral communication. Is that you also mentioned that you have some kind of consultations. So, and you said something about efficiency, that you can, how can you do that, and how can you do it like in a systematic way? I don't know if that makes sense, these kind of things.
Yes, sure. So after we try to analyze the case, and then we have to do a kind of practice how to write an objection based on our analysis, if I'm not mistaken. Is it right?
Yeah. And what we had last time is that we had an example of where there was novelty and inventive step in some of the claims, and some of the claims were not inventive. So we have example of like both like inventive step and where there's like when it was not novel or it didn't contain an inventive step. So you have different example of how to access it. But this that's why I didn't want to show it from the beginning, because we are not doing the same kind of training every time. We take very much into account the challenges and obstacles that you have in your office. And it depends on what kind of things, because we have, and also what is the strategy of the office. But what we can do is that we got some input from your side, then we can put it into suggestion, like discuss other patent at the DKPTO, and here come with a suggestion on estimate on how we can do the training. We have information from your side about like the structure that you have with your examiners and how you divide your work. And we also got a bit of input of like the interest and the challenges you have, and then we can do it. But then it's also very important that you get feedback, say, oh, this is not exactly, we want more of this, and this is not relevant, and maybe it could be like longer, or maybe you can include more example and stuff like that, because you are the one who's going to have the training and you're the expert in your challenges. So I don't know if you have anything to add, Mogens. Anything from your side?
Yeah, I think the novelty and inventive step is always be a issue because we faced it every day, and then maybe it's can be included for the sharing session with the DKPTO trainers. And one more that in our law in Indonesia, I think we have to assess that what kind of invention that could be patented and could not be patented in our law in Indonesia, and how about in the DKPTO we can share about that, like patentable and non-patentable invention.
Yeah, so we have a session about like what is patentable. Do you have any exception and this kind of thing? That will be important. A good point.
Excuse me, I'm afraid I misunderstood the proposal. So about the writing office action, is it going to be in the first or second day, or will it be held on the other day? So after finish all of the analysis, and then we have a special day just to try to write the letter.
It's up to you.
I think we're discussing this. I think we should frame this differently, because when we talk about communication, the communication part, this is very much aligned, you could say, associated to the analysis part, the examination part, where you, as you said, Mohammed, there was you have a challenge in consistently examining for inventive step, and of course we have some we have our own methodology that we share with the in a European perspective. But that's just the minor part. That's just simply the way you proceed with the analysis, you could say, and it's a methodology trick you use in order to to reach upon your conclusion. The main challenge for patent offices in general is to establish consistently a practice, and all patent offices in the world are struggling with this. So I think this when we speak about the communication, it's so much aligned or associated with the examination. Also, you could say basically the search. And I think we should consider this as an integrated session, where, and I can say for our part, we will also like to learn from this with the discussions and the, you could say, the presentations that we are putting forward in your place when we have experts travel to Indonesia. Of course, there will be some exchange of ideas and knowledge, but we will present our way to analyze and go forward with our methodologies, and not the least our ability to communicate the conclusions and our ability to communicate the responses to the applicant. So I think it's just a matter of these things are interconnected, and we should not consider them as separate parts. So maybe we could start with a session that regards some technical fields. For instance, if you have a number of applicants within, say, medicine, biotechnology, electronics, wherever, mechanics. So wherever you feel the need at most, we could start there and apply these ideas of how to work as an examiner in total, but taking an outset in the technical area, so to speak. But that's another way to look into this, because if we separate things, I think the impact of our efforts would be more limited as compared to when we integrate the examination part with the communication part. Okay. I don't know if you can have.
So I think I know that Sissel was needed to leave for another meeting. I don't know if she's back again. But what we can do is that we can come up with a suggestion for this workshop or training. We need to do a bit of internal discussion, and then we send it to you, and then you can have a look at it and do some comment on it. And your input is very important, so please comment. Don't accept immediately. So we are not getting angry or anything. Like, I think the more input we can get from you, we got something within the last hour. It was very valuable. And then within a few days, then you will receive this one and then give feedback. And then we can have like a bit of discussion, and then we can settle. And once we have settled on the topic and the content, then we can start the discussion about the timelines also. So yeah. I think we are kind of flexible.
Yeah, the one that I noticed, the challenges for this training is that we do not separate the participant based on the field of technology. So because the previous training from DKPTO in 2015, we only asked for the examiner from the field of pharmaceutical and biotechnology. But now, because I think most of the first level examiner are from chemical field, yeah, Walid.
Yeah.
Chemical biology, yes. Yeah. So I think like apa teknologi umum apa sih ininya? Inggrisnya?
General technology.
Yeah, I think maybe for we can choose an example which can be understood by examiner from different field of technology. So not specific to one field of technology. So like in mechanical field maybe, or one in the field of chemistry and the other from the mechanical, but like computer implemented inventing, it's too difficult, yeah, for other examiners to understand. It's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think we can find some examples. It's general characters that everybody of all examiners can understand. That would be okay, and then we can like have different one. We're not only having one example; we have several ones. So, and then also if you have like when you work on the hands-on, then we can take a few of them, so you can decide. I think that will be a practical thing we can solve. We have tried that before.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, but thank you very much for your input. It was very valuable, and it was very nice to see you. Unfortunately, I couldn't go to Indonesia 2 months ago because I was in India at that time, but I know that Michael had a nice time visiting you, and he came home very happy about like the interaction he had with you. So I hope to see you sometimes in Indonesia or at the screen sometime.
Yes, thank you so much, and also thank you, Ibu Iani and all the good people from TTIP. We're very happy for this, and we will be following up. As Tina mentioned, it'll be sent something from TKPTO, but of course you're aware that me and Milan is also always available on WhatsApp here or for a coffee here in Jakarta. So, but thank you very much, also Tina and Mogens, for all the good inputs. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Yeah. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
You
Thank
too.
you, everyone.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Bye, everyone.